Hey guys, Lunar Spiral 1127 here, bringing you Naruto chapter 586. Izanami activates. So yes, we finally get to see what Izanami can do. So the chapter begins with Kabuchimaru cutting Itachi in half, and he was about to rewrite Itachi's mind so he could be able to control him again with his Edo Tensei. But Sasuke throws his sword at Kabuchimaru, but his snake, that was coming out of his stomach, grabs it. Sasuke tried to use his Susanoo to grab Kabuchimaru, but he dodges it, of course. And then Sasuke tries using the Katon Gokakyu no Jutsu, but Kabuchimaru counters it with the Suiton Daibakufu no Jutsu. At that moment, it seems that Kabuchimaru has the upper hand, but Itachi attacks him again, but Kabuchimaru manages to stab Itachi. And right at that moment, in one panel, you can see that the Mangekyo Sharingan symbol in Itachi's left eye starting to disappear. I think at that moment, it's probably where Izanami starts to activate. That's where, right when that symbol disappears, Izanami has already begun. Itachi turns into crows and distracts Kabuchimaru to drop Sasuke's sword. Itachi grabs Sasuke's sword and tries to cut Kabuchimaru, but he dodges. So Kabuchimaru tries attacking Itachi again, but then Itachi says, Izanami. So, at that point, I don't know if at that point that was... I said that the Sharingan Eye was right when Izanami activated, but maybe the Sharingan Eye, it could be when Izanami was ready to activate, and when he said Izanami, that is when Izanami actually begins. So then Kabuchimaru summons his Orochimaru snake and tries to attack him, but Itachi was able to use his Susanoo to grab the Orochimaru snake, but then Kabuchimaru came out of Orochimaru's snake, but Sasuke used his Susanoo to grab Kabuchimaru, but Kabuchimaru came out of Kabuchimaru, of course. He rips off Itachi's arm, grabs Sasuke's sword again, stabs Itachi. Itachi turns into a bunch of crows, and the crows distract him, and he drops his sword. Itachi grabs Sasuke's sword, tries to cut Kabuchimaru, only managed to cut his horn. The same horn that was cut, mind you, in chapter 580, and at that moment, Kabuchimaru was starting to get really suspicious, as in, like, wasn't this horn already cut before? So what the hell was going on? And honestly, when I kept reading it, I was so confused. Throughout this chapter, it's pretty much the same thing, in a way. Despite being different in each situation, whenever Kabuchimaru tried to attack Itachi, it's always the same thing. Itachi gets stabbed by Kabuchimaru when he was using Sasuke's sword. Itachi turns into a bunch of crows. Kabuchimaru gets distracted and drops the sword. Itachi grabs the sword, tries to cut Kabuchimaru, but only manages to cut his horn, and they attack again. So apparently Izanami is sending Kabuchimaru in this infinite time loop over and over and over again, where it's the same thing, even though some situations were a bit different, it was still the same thing. Kabuchimaru trying to attack Itachi, but it will always lead to a stalemate, and that was it. But of course Kabuchimaru, I guess, does get suspicious, and Itachi says, "Your fate is in my hands. You cannot escape this loop." The jutsu that decides fate, that is Izanami, and that is when the chapter ends. So, yeah, that is Naruto chapter 586. And we finally get to see Izanami after all that build-up, 5 to 6 chapters. And I gotta say, I was a little bit disappointed. Because the fighting, as much as the action was pretty good, but it was pretty repetitive. It was still like the same thing over and over again. Now, as for Izanami, apparently Izanami, it sends the person into a time loop where it repeats the same thing over and over again. But Itachi says that even though his fate is in his hands, Kabuchimaru can be able to decide that fate. So apparently, if one does something differently while in that time loop, maybe that is when Izanami will deactivate. So in Kabuchimaru's case, he might be able to escape Izanami if he, didn't attack Itachi at that moment, or accepted the fact that he is not his true self in a way. Honestly, this time loop, it reminded me a couple of things. It reminded me of the conclusion in Bleach when Mayuri fought against Xyle Opero. He managed to trap Xyle into this, into this illusion where his sword was slowly about to stab him, and he has to wait like that for eternity or something like that. But it also reminded me about what happened to Elder Toguro in Yu Yu Hakusho. When Kurama used the Sinner Tree to trap Elder Toguro in his hallucination of his greatest fear. Elder Toguro's case was never being able to kill Kurama, so he would be trapped forever in that hallucination, trying to kill Kurama without no luck, without him even dying. That's what it was kind of similar like that to Izanami and what Kabuchimaru was going through. And it seems that this fight may be over. I was a bit... If it was over like this, then I honestly would have been disappointed. I kind of want Kabuchimaru to, get another, pull out another trump card and escape this Izanami, but, that's just me. Because if Kabuchimaru is defeated and Itachi and Sasuke managed to get him to deactivate Edo Tensei, that means all the Edo Tenseis that were sealed are gonna be gone, and Madara will be gone, which I don't want Madara to be gone. He's badass. I will admit, it was a bit overpowered with, the freaking Rinnegan and the Mokuton Jutsu, but he was still badass. And I don't want Madara to go away pretty soon. But it looks like that the fight between Kabuchimaru and Chia Brothers are now over. So, for this chapter, I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10. The action, despite being repetitive, it was still good. And Izanami, I don't know, all that build up, 5 to 6 chapters, it's pretty much a little bit disappointing, but I'm hoping next week's chapter, Izanami will be explained a little bit more of what it can do and how it works. So, yeah. But, if this fight is now over, then that means we could finally go back to Madara and the 5 Kages, or Naruto against Tobi. But then again, who knows what might happen next week. So, yeah, that's Naruto chapter 586. I'm Lunar Spy 1127, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.